Hey, what's up, guys? I thank y'all for tuning in this morning. I got something that I really want to talk about, and I think it's the missing link to why a lot of us are not reaching our goals and reaching the things that we have set out to do. And no, it's not consistency. I was thinking long and hard about this morning. Even in my own life, I was thinking about it. And I think the missing link is intentionality. I think a lot of us are not intentional about the things we are doing. I think we are just waking up in the morning and just winging it. When it comes to our dreams and things that we want to do, we're just winging it. Like there's no concrete plan in place for us to accomplish anything that we're trying to accomplish. We're just winging it. We're winging it as parents. We're winging it as spouses. We're winging it at work. We're winging it in every area of our lives. Like there is nothing intentional about it. And some of you may be asking, well, what's the difference between being intentional and being consistent? And there's a big difference. Consistency means that you set out and you're doing something every single day. But that could be at 8 o'clock, that could be at 9 o'clock, that could be at 10 o'clock. You can go to the gym today at 11 a.m. and then tomorrow you could go after you get off from work. That's not really intentional. That's consistent. Intentional is when you are locked in and you're doing what it is that you need to be doing the same way every single time. That means intentional with going to the gym may look like getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. Intentional is journaling before you go to work. Intentional is eating at the same time every single day. And I know a lot of times that's hard because, we have kids and other things are going on in our life. They may require our attention, but there's grace there because with being intentional, when you're getting as close as you can to what it is that you need to be doing. Meaning that, something may happen or something may throw you off course or throw a monkey wrench in what it is that you're trying to do or distract you, but you're getting back, you're bouncing back as soon as possible. You're making the necessary adjustments as soon as possible. That's intentional as well. So even though sometimes things come up because my schedule will fluctuate and sometimes it's hard to do the same thing at the same time every single day, but I get as close as I possibly can to making sure I'm executing that thing that I'm trying to do. So I think in this season, that is the missing link for a lot of you guys. Just being intentional about what it is that you say that you were going to do. And I think a lot of times when you're not intentional, it throws off your consistency because you don't have anything in place. Like you're just winging it. So you may go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then next week, you may not go at all. It wasn't the fact or your consistency is coming into play. It's you being intentional. So I'm asking you today, what can you be intentional about? Like, what is it that you can lock in and focus on where you can be able to execute what it is that you're trying to do? And more specifically, I'm talking about you being an entrepreneur. I'm talking about you starting your own business. I'm talking about you going to the gym. I'm talking about you getting in the best shape of your life. I'm talking about your eating habits. What can you do to be intentional? Intentional with eating your diet, with you going to the store. Intentional looks like you intentionally buying food. So even if you do get tempted, you have nothing but healthy options at home in the cabinet and in the refrigerator. That's intentional because you're pre-planning or premeditating in your mind how you want things to go, how you want the outcome to be. And I'm saying you have to be that way in every single area of your life. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional in your relationships. You can't just wing it. You can't have highs and lows. And today you feel this way and tomorrow you feel that way. You have to be even intentional in your emotions. That what's the plan for today? I heard someone say that we need to start praying for a strategy for even our emotions, because a lot of times things happen in our lives throughout the course of the day and it completely throws us off. Like, we were not expecting whatever happened at all, whether it be a phone call, whether it be our boss, whether it be a coworker, whether it be some drama going on with a family member. Some things come and they throw us completely off because we weren't mentally or emotionally prepared for those things. And that's what I'm saying. If you wake up being intentional, your day will go a whole lot smoother because you have a plan in place. I'm not talking about, and that's a part of intentionality as well, but I'm not talking about having your pants ironed every night on a hanger and they're sitting on the doorknob on a hanger. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where it really counts, where it really matters. All those things are good. That's wonderful. Who you're going to see when you first get to the office. That's intentionality and all that's beautiful. But I'm talking about as far as personal development. I'm talking about as far as spiritual growth, you being intentional in those areas, because you can be intentional in a lot of areas. But I'm talking about specifically with you growing as a person and you're getting to the place that you really need to be in. So what can you do this week that you can be more intentional about, that's pushing you closer to your dream and your goal? Like, I really need that to sink in and for you to really think about that. What areas are lacking intentionality? I can think about things in my life that I need to tighten up on. Even with YouTube and me being a content creator now, I have to be more intentional about posting schedules and things like that. I know the content that I post is good because when I get on here, I'm not just winging it. I'm not just reading a book or something I heard last week, or I watch my favorite influencer and then, I'm giving you regurgitated messages or things like that. Like, these are things that I actually live, that I have walked through and been through. So I'm not getting on here just sharing some information that I heard last week, or I had a bright idea this morning. Like, I don't operate that way. I can't operate that way. Even when it came to starting the channel, I heard a lot of people say, think about topics you want to talk about and write them down and, discuss that, for the week and form something around it. Like, I don't operate that way. That's why the channel is called CJ Inspires the World, because when I get on here, I'm actually feeling something. I'm feeling inspired to tell you guys something. Like, you're getting information fresh and hot off the press. Like, this isn't nothing I thought about last week, or I wrote down in a notebook, or I heard somebody else bring up a topic, or I Googled the trends and the most important search topics that people want to discuss. No, this is what's in my spirit at this point in time. So when I give it to you guys, that's being intentional. There has been many days that, I wanted to record and I felt inspired and I just didn't do it because, I was tired. And then I'd be like, oh man, somebody could have received that. Somebody could have been blessed from that. That could have helped somebody today. So I'm being intentional in that aspect, that when I feel that way or I feel inspired, that I get on here and I record it like I'm doing this morning. Like, all this was on my mind this morning. This video is intentional because I wanted to get this message out here, that the missing key or the missing link to a lot of you guys have said yes. A lot of you guys have gotten in position, according to my past videos that I have posted. If you hadn't seen it, make sure you go back and check it out. I really appreciate your support. But you guys have done all that. A lot of you guys have surrendered to the Lord, have surrendered to your purpose, have cut out certain habits, have made a decision that this year, I'm going to move a certain way. A lot of you guys have done that, but it hasn't been with intentionality. It hasn't been. You just been winging it. You pray whenever, you read the Bible whenever, you go to church whenever. And I'm saying, in order for you to get over that hump, in order for you to get over that hill, you're going to have to be intentional. You're going to have a plan. You're going to have structure. You're going to have something in place that holds you accountable for doing what it is that you need to do on a daily to day-to-day basis. Like, it's important. So I'm going to need you to get out here today. If you woke up and you haven't been intentional thus far, I'm going to need you to finish the rest of the day being intentional. I'm going to need you to have a plan in place for you to get some things done today when it comes to your purpose, your goals, and your dreams. Well, that's it for you this morning. I love you guys. I am pulling up at Tropical Smoothie, trying to get this smoothie before I get to work. I appreciate all the comments, all the nice things that you guys have said, you sharing your story with me, and just being... All right, sorry about that, guys. But as I was saying, I appreciate, all the likes, the comments, you guys subscribing and sharing these videos with other people. Share this video with somebody that you really care about. Even if it's the op, share it with them as well, because maybe they won't be an op no more. But like I said before, I love you guys. I appreciate all of you. And just, keep rocking with me, because I guarantee you your life will never be the same again if you keep rocking with me. I promise you that, because we're going to be talking about some deep stuff on this channel that I know that will definitely impact your life and leave a mark that can never be erased. So I love you, and have a great day. Peace.